VA Health and Benefits, official mobile app for VA Health and Benefits. VA's official mobile app is a smarter, more convenient way for veterans to manage and carry their VA health and benefits information. One veteran notes, "I went into my local hardware store and logged into my VA mobile app. A quick glance at my phone showed them I was a veteran, and I was able to get the veteran discount without any paperwork. It was easy and convenient." Download the app via the Apple Store at https://apple.co/3 lowercase b lowercase k 9 uppercase o lowercase l, or download the app via the Google Play Store at https://bit.ly/3 uppercase q 5 lowercase q 9 uppercase l 5.
Hello and welcome again to Oscar Mike Radio. My name is Travis. I'm the host. Oscar Mike Radio is part of the Hoobazoo Network. You can find out more on hoobazoo.com. I want to thank my sponsors, Joyce Asack of Asack Real Estate, Army National Guard veteran Mark Holmes of Reapers Detailing and Power Washing, and my supporters, all veteran-owned businesses, Semper Savage, Bottom Gun Coffee, and Cason Shaving Company. And I'm really excited about today, this show, because we're having on a prior guest of Oscar Mike Radio, a civilian working for Veterans Advocacy. He is the CEO of Freedom Alliance, if I got that right. I think I do. And I want to welcome back. I'm so excited to have Mr. Tom Kilgannon of the Freedom Alliance back. Tom, welcome again.
Hey, Travis, it's great to be back on Oscar Mike Radio. Thanks for having me.
No, it's great. I learned a whole lot last time you were on about what you all do and how it affected you. So we're going to get right into it because I'm so excited. Kind of tell us, before we get into you a little bit, what the Freedom Alliance is and what you all do, please.
Sure. Freedom Alliance is a charitable organization, and we're here to help and support combat veterans, military families, and we do that in a variety of ways. First is we're helping combat veterans overcome the wounds of war. And currently, with most of the veterans we're working with, we're addressing the moral injury or the emotional injury that results from being in combat or having been, so many different deployments and seeing different things, and just working through the stressors and the anxieties that they bring back and the problems that they create. So we do that by getting them out on the water, taking them fishing, taking them hunting, putting them in small groups of like-minded veterans who are overcoming those difficulties as well, so that they can talk and create accountability partners and advocates for their care. And that helps a lot. It really, the feedback we get is it helps to alleviate the stress, to help them to focus on what they need to do to overcome those moral injuries. And secondly, and this is a part that I know we'll get into in more detail, but we're providing college scholarships to kids whose parents were killed or permanently disabled in the service of our nation. And we currently have 600 students on scholarship. We give out a few $1 million a year, and we do that so that we can help honor those sacrifices that were made, but in a more practical way, help these kids of heroes to get the education that they want and I think they deserve.
That's amazing that you all impact that many lives. And one thing I want to ask you about that, there's a notional out there that, hey, the war in Afghanistan is over, Operation Iraqi Freedom is over. Veterans don't need as much now, right? We don't need to do as much. What's your view on that? Because, need is constant, right?
It is, Travis, and I'm glad you brought this up because it's a central theme that I've been talking about for the last year. I wrote a column about this on townhall.com entitled "The War is Not Over." The war is not over, period. I know the president has said we've withdrawn troops from Afghanistan. Obviously, we've been out of Iraq, but this war is not over. And that is, I believe, true for the entire country. It is especially true for those who have deployed, who have fought, and who have sacrificed. Because, and I say this because, those troops that I just talked about who are dealing with moral injury, the war is still in their mind, it is still in their heart, and as long as it is, they are still fighting it. And we have to be there with them. I believe that when a nation goes to war, there are different stages. And obviously, the first stage is recruiting and training and getting troops into your armed forces. The failure of diplomacy is a second stage, and that then failure of diplomacy transfers to military action, and you have the war. And where we are now is in the last stage of all of this, which is national recovery. And I think we failed part of that in the way that we withdrew from Afghanistan. But I think the nonprofit community has been doing a tremendous job of helping to ease the burdens of military families. We've got a long way to go, and there's a lot more work to do. But we as a nation have to understand that those who deployed over these last 20 years, they are continuing to hurt and suffer and trying to rehabilitate. And Freedom Alliance, along with others in the military support community, are standing by their side and trying to help them to do that.
Yeah, because last time we talked, it was primarily about the scholarship, which is extremely important to those service members' families who experience loss, or that individual can't provide the kind of education they want for their children. But one thing that getting caught up is, I'm like, wow, you're doing a whole lot more than just scholarships. So can you take me through some of those initiatives that you all are doing?
Sure. In fact, later this week, I'll be out in Las Vegas, and we will be presenting a vehicle to a wounded veteran. We're doing that in partner with our partners at U.S. Bank. We've given vehicles to dozens of recovering veterans, and that helps them with their independence, their mobility. In this case, it's going to help a service member to get to the many VA and rehab appointments that he needs to get to. We are giving all-terrain wheelchairs. Many veterans, and we do this a lot, we get them out on fishing trips and hunting trips. But for those who are on prosthetics or who have degenerative illnesses or who have difficulty walking through, tough brush and brambles and all of that in the woods and the forest, they need help in getting out there or getting to the side of a lake. So these customized wheelchairs, which go through the snow and the sand and everything, that they help a lot. So that's another initiative of Freedom Alliance. We just held a big fishing tournament with our partners at War Heroes on Water. We had 115 combat vets out on the water, and so that was done with the help of 50 beautiful world-class fishing yachts. And so what you have is, in one sense, you have 115 combat veterans in one event, but really what you have is 50 small group outings, because you have, you divide them up in groups of 2 or 3 on each boat. And in those settings, tremendous conversations are had where they are just able to talk about what burdens them, what frightens them, what their demons look like, how those demons arrive, whether it's through nightmares or whether it's daydreams or distractions or whatever it might be. And they talk about that, and they share stories of how they get through the day and how they get through over that next hurdle. And so we have dozens of events each year that help to facilitate those kinds of interactions. The vehicles, the all-terrain wheelchairs, we do some equine therapy, and then we're also doing some mortgage-free homes for service members. So it's a variety of activities, but in each case, what we're trying to do is to get get to know the veteran, be friends with them, earn their trust, and be able to help them through their continuum of care for as long as we were able.
So one thing that strikes me when I talked to you the first time, and then got really excited to talk to you the second time because you do so much, is the aspect of partnerships. And I kind of want to go down that road a little bit because a lot of nonprofits I talk with are people in nonprofits who want to be in their silo. But it seems like your success is hinged on being able to build these relationships with external entities who you wouldn't traditionally think be involved with veterans causes, but you build a relationship. Now, how important is that to be able to do that?
I think it's tremendously important, and we do it whenever we can and where we can. And obviously, what we're looking for are partners that their heart is bringing to us a desire to serve, resources that we don't have that we need in order to make the project successful. And we've got wonderful partners. As I mentioned, U.S. Bank, we're doing a number of initiatives with them. War Heroes on Water is an extraordinary partner who brings resources we could barely even imagine for a small organization like Freedom Alliance. The Johnny Mack Soldiers Fund is a tremendous partner for us that helps us to give millions of dollars each year to kids for these scholarships. And so I think it's we're always looking to be able to work with people who would like to work with us. And I think it's important because together we can do more than we can do on our own. And we'd like to do more of that with the right folks.
So you have these things all going. We talked like a year and a half ago. Have you all grown as a nonprofit org since then, or is it still steady state? I guess what I'm trying to get to is when we talked, COVID was hitting you all like a lot of nonprofits, and you were adjusting around that. What's it been like coming out of COVID and embracing a COVID, less future, if I can say that? Does that even make sense?
Yeah, COVID free future. It has been great coming out of COVID, leaving that thing behind us. Ripping the masks off and being able to enjoy one another and enjoy each other's company again. I think it's we, like, as you said, most nonprofits, we had to adjust, and we adjusted well, and we did a lot of great things during that time. We had a lot of conversations like this over the Zoom application, and we brought veterans together, and it worked, and it was very effective at that time, and we're still doing some of that. So we discovered something that is very useful to us. But when you're working with veterans and you're trying to earn their trust and you're trying to help them through very difficult situations, you need to be there face to face. You need to be able to shake their hand and give them a hug and look them in the eye and say, we're going to be here for you and we're praying for you, and here's how we're going to help. And that's very much appreciated. And we have to be there in person. So all of our in-person events are back. They're robust. They're going well. The troops and their families are eager to participate. They want to be with one another. They enjoy seeing each other, being in each other's company. The laughter is more robust. The jokes are funnier. The conversation is more authentic. And it's just wonderful to be back and to be able to see and hear and laugh with others.
This is amazing. I'm really happy to hear that. And one thing I kind of touched on last time that I want you to unpack it again for me because I think it's really impactful. And the reason is a lot of civilians, whether they're working in a nonprofit or, have a business that wants to partnership with veterans causes, there's still a bit of hesitation for a lot of them because they've never served. And they're very unsure how to approach that organization or that veteran because they're worried about speaking the language. And as we discussed last time, you yourself did not serve, but, how can somebody who's a bit apprehensive about making that leap into partnering with an organization like yours, what should they know, and how do they get over that?
It's a great question, Travis, and we've seen this in different stages. I know if you go back 20 years, when I was doing shows like this, you'd be on the program and people say, how can I help? And at that time it was it always is. It's a sincere offer of help, but they just don't know how, and they want to help. And so at that time it was, well, donate socks or items for care packages or phone cards or things of that nature. We're in a very different stage now, and so when people say they want to help, make that offer. Find the nonprofit that appeals to you, the kind of work that you like and that you think you can contribute to. Obviously, for all of us in the nonprofit community, the cash donations help because they give us some flexibility on how to use that and where to put it and where to allocate it, and that's always best. And but if you've got a talent or a resource or something that can help out, just contact Freedom Alliance or the nonprofit you're working with and let them know what that is. I have a specialty skill. I'm an attorney. I'm a CPA. I'm a hairdresser. I'm happy to donate my talents and skills. Or in our case, if you're the owner of a luxury fishing yacht in Newport Beach or Southern California, we could use that for our War Heroes on Water tournament. We could use it in Costa Rica, where we do a lot of our fishing expeditions. If you've got a ranch or a place to host a hunting weekend, let us know that. So just think about what it is you have to offer. It might be time, it might be money, it might be talent, and sort of, to the extent you can, quantify that. I could give a weekend a month, or a weekend every month, or whatever it is, and just let the contact at the nonprofit organization process that information, think about it a little bit, and where best to use it, if we're able to use it at all. And I think that's the best way to go. But it's what we also find with our outings, when we do get the civilian population involved, the veterans really like that. They don't want civilians who are going to come to them and sort of put them on a pedestal and tell them how great they are. They want authentic relationships to with a boat owner or a race car owner or somebody who owns their own business. They want to get to know that person. How did you start your own business? What did you do? What makes you successful? When you sit down to write a book, where do you start? How do you begin? They're curious just like the rest of us. They're looking for opportunities. Their skill sets are all over the place. If you take 50 guys who are in an infantry unit, and you've got they all have one skill set, which is to be able to take on the enemy effectively. But beyond that, they have 50 different skill sets, because they're all interested in different things, whether it's literature or arts or sports or athletics or business or whatever it might be. So just approach them as you would anybody else, and you're going to get to learn about them, but let them learn about you as well.
I'm just sitting here because, yes, it's like you're talking to me right now. I don't want to be, I didn't serve in combat, but still, I don't want to be in that, hey, everybody stand up now and clap for the veteran, right? I want to understand how you did what you did and grew what you went after. But one of the things that got me really interested in you when we started talking is the aspect of the scholarships. And that requires a different set of, I wouldn't say skills, but a different kind of outreach focus, right? Because right from the get-go, it's a bad situation. This person either died or is infirm to the point where they can't provide for their family. What's that like, bridging that relationship with that veteran's family for that child to get a head start in life?
Well, first off, it's a tremendous honor because, as you just said, Travis, these families have been through a great deal, and it is hard to understand just how deep the hurt is, and how the sadness and the loss live on for a long time. In our case, I think in most cases with our scholarship students, we are working with them, or being introduced to them and then working with them 10, 15 years after they lost their parent or the parent was injured. And so they're in a different place. But the scholarship that we give is unique in the sense that it's not about the child's accomplishments necessarily. It is about the parents' service and sacrifice and accomplishments. And so obviously the student has to have good grades, and they have to be enrolled in a university. But the accomplishment that they do have, I'd say, is that they are dealing with a tremendous loss and showing all of us how to overcome adversity, how to continue loving your country despite tragic circumstances, how to honor a fallen or a wounded parent with grace and dignity. And they do that by enrolling in school, by doing well, by coming to Freedom Alliance events and standing up at the podium and speaking into a microphone and saying, my dad is an American hero because, and that is very difficult for some of them, especially at first, but they do it because they do it for the same reasons that we give them the scholarship, because their parents' sacrifice deserves to be remembered and honored and given tribute over the years, not just at the time it happened, but for years and years and years to come. And so, like the veterans, we try to get to know them, earn their trust, befriend them, and be a positive force and a positive role model in their lives. And one thing I want to make clear here to your audience, Travis, is that for this academic year of 2022, 2023, Freedom Alliance still has resources available for those who qualify. And these are students whose parents were killed or permanently disabled in military service. And if anybody who thinks they qualify just goes to fascholarship.com, they'll be able to get an application and apply, and we'll get them the resources to go to school.
So I will have that link in the Oscar Mike Radio show post. But just to be clear is, and help me if I'm wrong here, is you're a child of parents who served our country, and that parent has either been deceased through their combat experience, or I didn't quite understand this, so I'll make sure I get this right. And what the parent is infirmed by virtue of their service and can't provide that college experience. Is that the first two primary requirements?
Basically, yes. Yeah. So the first is if your parent was killed
in action
or training mission, or permanently disabled as a result of combat or training mission. There are other criteria. For example, if you're the child of a Medal of Honor recipient of one of the Distinguished Crosses, you'd qualify as well, and some others. So I encourage anybody who is in this kind of a situation to go to fascholarship.com, look at the various ways that you might qualify for this, and we'll get you some help to be able to hopefully afford the college that you'd like to attend.
So it's those two main requirements. Go to fascholarship.com, start the process, and then somebody from your organization reaches out to that prospective student.
Yeah, so when you go there, the student would fill out an application. We do require some information about the parents' service and their history, what school you're going to, obvious things like that. But we get that. We accept those applications on a rolling basis. We get back to students as quickly as possible, and that's usually not very long at all. And we want to make sure that anybody who qualifies for this is aware of the resources that are available and that they take advantage of it. I know there are other resources out there, the GI Bill, for example, but I would encourage anybody who thinks they qualify, look to Freedom Alliance and other scholarship nonprofits first before you start expending your GI Bill benefits. Because if Freedom Alliance and many other scholarship organizations, nonprofits, we're restricted to undergraduate study. And so you can get a lot of your college paid for through nonprofits. And then if you want to go on and get a master's degree or higher degree or some other form of higher education, then you can still use your GI Bill benefits. And so that way you get more bang for the buck for all the benefits that are available to you.
Awesome. So I understand completely. I'll have it in the show post, and it's very important because college costs are of course going up, and for a lot of children it's the only way out. I guess I asked this before last time, but I definitely think it bears asking again. You do this work and you get to see veterans in this space and their children. Tell me again what it's like when that child, for example, understands they're going to college, and then do you get to meet or talk to any of the children after they graduate college?
Oh, sure. When when they get the scholarship the first time, it is we on a regular basis we get notes and emails and letters of thanks, and some of them are very profound. And in some cases, they say it was this scholarship that put me over the top of being able to afford it. In other cases, it is their thanks for remembering their dad, their mom. We've got, probably 95% of our scholarships are based on the father's service record. But there are some, there's at least 24, I'd say, or more, where it is the mother's sacrifice that qualifies the student for the scholarship. And so in those cases, they're especially happy because I guess, we're still not honoring female service members the way we should be. And then when they graduate, we try and keep in touch with our students as much as possible. In fact, we have one of our graduates was just accepted into the FBI Academy. We're very happy about
All right.
it. Two of our students have received very prestigious congressional fellowships. Several of our students are either in ROTC or enlisting and following in their father's footsteps. Some are at big corporations and doing very well. So we love always hearing the success stories of our students and where they are and how they're growing.
It just I can see the smile on your face. It has to be, a lot of people go to work and wonder if their work really matters, and what you do on a daily basis for you and your team and your staff matters every day. Personally, what does that do for you as you go through this and continue the work that you all are doing?
It's Travis, I'll tell you, it's a real honor, and it's a lot of fun. There are tough days. We just lost one of the service members that we helped about 10 years ago. Very sad to see that. And there are challenges, no question. But we're here because they are being challenged in their lives, and we want to help them through that. So when you have somebody come to you and say, hey, the help that you provided really got me through a difficult spot, or made me decide not to take the action that I was going to, that is tremendously rewarding. I think I'm very proud of the fact that Freedom Alliance has been part of a very proactive, positive coalition of military support organizations that I think have changed our history. There was a time in our country when we did not appreciate and support veterans and military families the way that we should have. And I'm referring, of course, to the Vietnam era, but we've changed that, and we have really enlisted the support of corporate America, of the big media like Oscar Mike Radio to get the word out, and so many other parts of our society that are helping out and want to be a part of veterans' lives and get to know them on a personal level. So it's rewarding, not just from the perspective of the help that Freedom Alliance provides to the veterans, but building these coalitions, as we talked about earlier, being able to attract 50 yacht owners to open their homes, in a sense, to groups of veterans and get out there. And when they return to the pier after 4 days of fishing, the veteran saying, "Hey, that was really a great trip. It was life-changing," and the yacht owner saying, it did more for me than it did for the veteran, because now I see things differently. I've got a new great friend, and it was a life-changing experience for the captain and the crew as well. So it's just I enjoy what I do, as you might be able to tell.
I don't know, sir. I had no idea. I was kind of drawing a blank here, but you have enlightened me greatly.
People like you, Travis.
You've enlightened me greatly. And one thing I want to see happen out of this is that somebody else who's thinking about advocating will, and it just gives me hope, because veterans aren't being forgotten now, and we're trying to go back and help those Vietnam veterans. So look, Mr. Kilgannon, I know you're a busy man. I want to thank you for the time you've given me to come on Oscar Mike Radio and share with us. It does my heart good. It's my heart good to see the work you all are doing. And, if there's still scholarship help available, I'd definitely like to see somebody take advantage of that. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Travis. I really appreciate it. And just two closing thoughts for those who think they qualify. FAscholarship.com. See if you qualify for a scholarship. We'll get you help. And as we talked about earlier, the war is not over. Veterans and military families still need help. They need our support. They need our love and resources. God bless you, Travis. Thanks for having me on.
Well, Mr. Kilgannon, as we say in Oscar Mike Radio, we are mission in flight. You're definitely in flight. And again, go to FAscholarship.com to find out more. I have all the links, and hopefully he'll be on again next year to talk about other stuff. So thank you again. You have a great day.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for joining me and watching Oscar Mike Radio. Now go to OscarMikeRadio.com and click shop to check out all the cool merchandise from Authentically American. All proceeds go to veteran service organizations. We are mission in flight.